Welcome to Collectors of the Coast. I am Cash, and today we're going to talk about the companion mechanic in the new Ikoria Lair of Behemoths set. When I originally looked at this set, I thought Mutate was going to be the big one, and as I spent more time breaking it down, I'm realizing companions is really the really interesting mechanic that's going to happen. And I do believe it's going to change how Magic the Gathering is played. I think we're going to see this mechanic again and again. And it doesn't make the game better. Does it ruin the game? I'm not sure. We never know with these new mechanics until they've been played for a while. So how do they work? How do companions work within the meta? And are they going to be interesting? There are 10 companions in Ikoria, each with a unique deck building rules. You can choose one companion and must announce it before the game. Companions will start outside the game or in a sideboard and may be cast at any time, at which they will enter the game. If countered, they're going to go into the graveyard. Companion rules only count to your starting deck and not your sideboard. If you wish to play a companion in your main deck, companion rules do not apply. So that means you can play 4 of these things in your main deck if you want, and it's no problem. So we have 10 of these bad boys, and my criticism is, why the heck do we not have Luca's Flying Cat as a companion in this set? It seems like it was such an obvious choice that a card would be highly sought after from a collector's standpoint. We have 2 Planeswalkers with companions in the set, and for some reason we don't get their companions, and it just seems really weird and like a mistake. As a collector, I think the art on each of the companions is really, really well done, and I just wish we had comic book versions of that art, like some of the ones that like the Planeswalkers that came out. Really collectible cards, and they just scream out that they could have that kind of art. Maybe there's some kind of supplementary thing coming out that'll have that. Okay, so starting our first color set of these things is the Boros one, which is Zirda the Dawn Waker, for 1 and a 2 red or combination of white. This is a companion rule is each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. This effect can reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. We can play 1 and tap it, and target creature can't block this turn. This creates unlimited combos with cards like Grim Monolith. You now have unlimited mana, and you're able to use that. Same as Basalt Monolith. So unlimited combos. There are many cards that'll work with this, and it's pretty darn great. So our second card is our Golgari card, which is Umori the Collector, and for 2 and 2 color, companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. As Umori the Collector enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. And he's got a 4/5 body, so this is a bit of a beefy dude. You can bring him back. There are so many different decks that we can make with this card. Very interesting card to try to work with. Next is Lurrus the Dream Den of the Dream Den, and he is a 3/2 for 3. His companion ability is each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. Lifelink, pretty good already. During each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. This thing is great. This is, I think, the most sought after one so far. He combos so well with cards like Zulapart Cutthroat, where you can gain life and take your opponents. Soul Warden, which you can keep recurring things back. Anything with a sack outlet that you can sack and bring back. Johnny's Pridemate. There's all kinds of combos that he can combo off with, and the Orzhov card is great. So Lutri the Spell Chaser comes in as the card that has the very first card that has been banned before the damn thing came out. It is banned in Commander, and rightfully so. It would be played in 100% of Izzet Commander decks. The card is that good. It is essentially a fork, and with a 3/2 body. And a fork back in the day was a good card, and this is basically fork plus you get a spell. So Natural combos with things like Lightning Bolt, really cheap cards that you get to do 6 damage, or Fire Bolts, cards like that. But probably going to be even do more damage with things like Fae of Wishes, which now you're going to be able to get 2 cards from your deck. It will be really great in some of those Clover decks. Brazen Borrower, so now you get to double. You get to double up. You get even more times you can do these abilities, and it's going to be pretty broken, I think. Now, Keruga is our Simic one. I don't think this is as broken as some. It reads, Companion, your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. When Keruga the Macro Sage comes into the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Now, I think this card's going to be really good. Again, pairs with things like Brazen Borrower, really easy to use. It's going to be good. I just don't see this being as broken as some of them. Teferi Time Raveler, it looks really great with as well. Pretty easy to use this for some. We're going to see lots of use. So now this one Dash is the most excited about, which is Garuda, Doom of the Depths. He reads, your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana costs. When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Not bad already for a 6/6 body. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. It's really obvious pairing. There's really great pairings with things like Thassa's Deep Dwelling that'll come into play, and you can do it over and over again. Same as Ravenous Chewbacca. Love cards like that with this. Even better. I mean, Ravenous Chewbacca is good by itself. Sage's Rodenizen was another one I thought would be really good with it, or even the Agents of Treachery would be really good. Lots of good things you can do with this card. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. Like, this thing is just going to be absolutely broken if you get this thing in a deck and it gets popped into the battlefield, and you get to, and oftentimes you'll get to do this damn thing twice, if you play Garuda. So Giganta is our next one in our Gruul colors, and it says no card in your starting deck has more than 1 mana of the same symbol in its mana cost. Add 1 mana of each color. This can't be used to pay generic mana costs. So this combos off so well with some of the bigger, crazier cards in Magic the Gathering's history. Really fun to see this used in some of those older decks. Sisay Weatherlight Captain, absolute bomb. It allows you to search your library for a legendary permanent card just by itself. And if you have that mana, you can do that. You can do it twice, and it's going to break the game. Cards like The Last Stand, that's kind of cheesy cards. But really fun to try these now out with a card like that. Legacy Weapon, which again is just a bomb. It'll ends the game basically as soon as this thing comes out. So Kaheera, the Orphan Guard, our next one, and Kaheera reads, each creature in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. Vigilance, each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/1, and has vigilance. So by itself, a real bomb, really good card. But the thing I like, it really allows a lot of those tribal decks that were so-so. This makes them even better. You now have a card on the board that is great from the start. Things like Arabo, Roar of the World, becomes even better. The cat decks become, from just okay to pretty good. Crater Behemoth it works with really well. Anything that you're making a bunch of tokens, it works really well if they're of those types. So lots of great things. Obosh, the Prey Piercer, is our next legendary, a Hellion Horror. Companion, your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. If a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. I think this card is underrated so far in the previews I've seen. I think this card is going to be absolutely a bomb. I think it's going to be broken. I would not be surprised to see this thing get banned. Cards like Firebolt, Lightning Bolt, really obvious. They now are doing 4 damage. They're doubling everything. It is crazy. You get into things like Lightning Skelemental, works really well with those as well. Odd number cards, really amazing card. going to be a game breaker. So Yorion the Sky Nomad is our last one, and it's a legendary bird serpent companion. Your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. Flying 4/5 for 5, not bad already with the body. When Yorion enters the battlefield, exile any number of non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So this card pairs off really well, obviously, with things like Agent of Treachery. So now you are going to get another card every time Yorion goes off. You're going to get another card. So already great. Thassa, again, another great card for Thassa. I think we're going to see some of these cards start to go back up in price with these cards coming out to combo with them. Again, works really well with Teferi. You use that -3 ability, and you are going to get to bring it back again and go off. So it makes cards like that even better. So these companions, I just think, are going to be absolute bombs in the game, and really excited to see what they do. Is it going to break the game? Are they going to go further with them? Is this just a one-off? Time will tell. We never really know what the people at Wizards of the Coast are going to do. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody, if you haven't already done it, please like and subscribe, ring the bell, and have a great day. And maybe give me your opinions on what you think Companion's going to do to the game in the comments below. Have a magical day. Take care.